As the scene unfolds, staring at the little girl, she voiced the same hair color. Ordal then immediately embraced him, while he was asserting how she knew his name. Lately, the guard shouted that their victory drew near. Then another guard mentioned to someone that at this rate, the kingdom will fall back, but suddenly someone swung his sword so forcefully that it created a gust of wind. Seeing this, a guard mentioned as soon as he saw the person that's a war demon Ordal, then he shouted, "Ordal mercenary squad, don't ye lose to the mercenaries." On the other hand, the man stated, "Captain Ordal too strong again." Then another man quoted, "Don't mind the Lord Knight as it's a badge of honor." And suddenly a girl questioned the Ordal. She heard he ran the show again, so come have a drink with them. Then Ordal responded that he's going to sleep as messing with them won't relieve his exhaustion, and noted to the guys that don't go too crazy. And they accepted. After that, he went to sleep, but then he heard War Demon Ordal, it will eliminate him. While waking up, he asked for what exactly tell him as they don't have much time. Then that man laughed and questioned while removing his cap for what he said. Then Ordal quoted that he remember him as he's the Royal Army's Black Sheep Night Squad, as given this is a night attack by Allied force, they must have been sent here by their superiors. Eventually, one of them responded exactly as even though he's lowly and educated mercenary, but he still has his wit about him. Then Ordal questioned that the king wants to eliminate him, and what a surprise he planned to give his all for this kingdom. Further, the men asserted that is where the problem lies. He'd won too many battles as a mercenary, time and time again. He wounded the owner of the Knight's War Demon Ordal, so he alone cannot be allowed to leave. Hearing this, Ordal articulated that he planned to become a mercenary and give everything he had for the kingdom. But what's been the point of these 5 years of war as it's all so empty? Then he stated, by the way, the reason now, if the knight's also proud, why would he carry out such an uncivilized attack? So the man responded to him to shut, as that is a sacred cleansing, and his beloved sword is at blacksmith's, and his man won't be able to come help him tonight, so he better off getting up. Then Ordal contemplated they're really well prepared, considering it's just for one guy killing a group of people of the level wouldn't be impossible, but even if he run from here there will be soldier chasing him, and even if it's not just himself, those guys are a bunch of halfwits, and another soldier asserted to allow them to dispose of Ordal. Further, while turning around he guessed it's about time, the soldiers shouted, "Have he gone mad?" Then Ordal stated that grown tired of this world, still he'll be waiting for them in hell. After that he sparked the fire, disappeared into its embrace, and soon the flames spread throughout the entire house. The very next day, someone quoted that he heard the war demon died, and a girl mentioned in denial that couldn't. Then the man stated that seems like there was a fire. Hearing this, Ordal contemplated that this rumor must have been spread by those black ship knights, but he really have to be grateful that the public don't know how he used to look and won't have to worry about getting exposed, so speaking of which he think they call these preparing for a rainy day. Eventually, Ordal prolonged that what should he do next, as there'd be very few countries willing to hire a mercenary who's supposed to be dead. Also, he can't go back to the capital as a ceasefire has already been signed as well, and the age of mercenaries who only know how to swing swords is over. Further, while walking, Ordal guessed he'll go home for the first time in a while, as no one should know he's the word demon in a poor village near and now grow some crops and live his life in peace. It's been 5 years since he was back home, and wondered how it is now, as he's still not used to his back feeling empty though. While walking in the forest, Ordal stated that he won't use a horse carriage, just in case walking ain't bad either. Suddenly, he jolted on his step as soon as he saw the wolf ready to attack a kid. Then he immediately powerfully threw the stone toward the wolf and attacked them. Seeing this, he stated looks like his stone-throwing skills haven't dulled. Further, Ordal articulated that the spiritual martial arts, as the human body containing the essence of life, feeds on spirit which elevate bodily function, and through training one's fighting spirit, powers beyond the norm can be utilized. So raised endurance, heightened senses, increased power, elevated agility, boosted recovery ability, and so on. The increased effects are multifaceted, but grasping spiritual martial arts and raising one's level requires an unusual amount of training, so very few people can use it. However, he prolonged what some people call an adrenaline-induced increase in power. While walking toward it, the wolf ran away. Then he contemplated, as expected of wild animals, good call by them, but he may have gone a little overboard, so hopefully this doesn't cause any trauma. Checking on a girl he thought seemed fine to him, then staring at him, the girl contemplated the same hair color as her, that's rare, and shouted Ordal. Then she immediately embraced him while shouting Ordal, and he questioned in shock that how'd she know his name. Then she voiced Papa. To his shock, the Ordal thought she meant him. Then the girl stated happily Papa, she finally met him. Later, Ordal shouted while pointing at the girl chief, "What's the meaning of this?" Then the man asked if put that voice be Ordal. Seeing him, chief stated that he'd changed a lot, and it be. Then he responded, "Old man, it's been a while," but immediately denied that's not it. Holding the girl, Ordal questioned, "Whose kid is this?" as she's calling him Papa even for a joke. This is going overboard. Staring, the girl chief stated, "What does he mean, as this child isn't from the village?" And he remembered the name and face of all the villagers, so he's sure not mistaken. Then Ordal questioned if this kid got lost from another village. Moreover, the chief asserted that for 2 days to the nearest village, Ordal children shouldn't be carried like cats, so why not put her down and ask her directly? As soon as he put her down, Ordal thought he might be good at scaring enemies on the battlefield, but on the other hand, kids, he guessed there was no choice for being as gentle as possible. After that, he questioned what's her name, whose kid she is, and where is she from, except her and an old man. The woman and the boy started shivering by him. While holding his head, he quoted that really he's not cut out for this. Then the girl introduced her as Maria, 5-year-old, and Papa is Ordal. Hearing her, he questioned nervously that she's not scared of him, and she responded that Mama said Papa's voice is really loud, so Maria is fine with it. Also, his voice is so gentle, and she likes how he looked too. So the Ordal contemplated it because they're parent and child, but immediately shouted, "Hold on," she said, "Mama, who is she? What's her name and where she is?" Then Maria responded, "Mama is Mama, and is busy now as she went somewhere, so she went to Papa's village." Then the chief asserted it seems she doesn't know her mother's name, and maybe something happened so she had to put the child in her father's village, and Ordal stated that makes sense. But he don't have a daughter, and the chief mentioned Ordal is still a man, so he must have had something with another woman. But he questioned old man what does being in a relationship. Eventually, the chief asked it couldn't be. Don't he know how babies are made, and have he really been with any girls, as if a man and woman get into a relationship, the women might get pregnant. Then Ordal status that he know that much, but none of the girl he been with had big bellies the next day. Also, he doesn't know if he's ignorant about girls or simply don't care. Listening to him, the chief face palmed himself and noted to Ordal that the children take 10 months and 10 days to grow in their mother's bellies. Just then he gets to know the shocking truth, but stated even if he says that there's no proof that she's his kid. Further, Ordal mentioned that it could be a child scam, as there's a turnoff even among nobles in the capital, trying to get money from them, but ignoring him, the chief quoted that the child's silver hair color is the same as his. However, he articulated that indeed, it's a very special color even on the mainland, as he'd yet to see anyone with the same hair color up until now, so that is decisive evidence that she is his kid. Then Maria mentioned that she's so happy to have the same hair color as Papa's, and the chief stated that it's hard for a man to raise a child by himself, as the village can take her in, as things have been difficult everywhere this year. By the way, he questioned him, does he need to go back to the mercenary squad to find her mother? But on the other hand, Ordal contemplated, will this kid also become an orphan like him, as it doesn't seem like he has parents? Also, he's a wild one. That kid, as his relatives sent him a letter, they say that kids are grown up with a family. Unexpectedly, while grabbing her, Ordal quoted that he'll take care of her and can't just responsibility through aside this child who look up to him as her father then, and the chief responded that he thought he'd that, and if there's anything troubling him, feel free to come. Then he agreed to do that. After that, he voiced her to let's go. Then she shouted, Maria is Marian, not she. Then he shouted, Maria, let's go, and she questioned Papa, can Maria hold his hand? Then he responded irritatedly that did what she wanted. Later in the forest, Ordal stated to listen up, as this village is basically each to their town, and she's a kid, but he'll be giving her work. Then she agreed and mentioned that Maria will work hard and will help Papa. Hearing her, he thought she really got it. Then he pointed toward the house and asserted that see over there, that's his home. Leaving his hand, she started running in a maze while quoting cool home. Seeing this, Ordal articulated that he just doesn't know what's going to happen, and so the man renowned as the war demon officially started raising a child. In the next scene, the Ordal articulated that because of his exceptional toughness and spiritual martial art, he was feared by Alice and enemies alike as the word demon Ordal. But on the night that the Empire and the Kingdom reached a ceasefire agreement, it thought that he died as part of a plot engineered by the king, who was jealous of his result, but now he's raising a child. While wiping, he quoted Maria to wipe her mouth, then she stated thanks for the meal and ready to hold the utensils from the table, but because of her height she hardly able to take it. Then Ordal mentioned that's dangerous and take it from her. Looking at her, he contemplated that's a good grief, as he can't take his eyes off her, and largely gotten used to living together, as it took a few days before he could properly call her name, and they'd largely got everything they needed to live. Then Ordal stated to Maria that the house is dreary, could she pick some flower and decorate that her job for today. Then she responded, leave it to her, Maria will pick a turn off flowers, and he thought if it's just this then there's no real concern of injuries and it will take her some time. While wiping his hand, Ordal asserted that he'll be heading over to the village chiefs to make sure to come home before it gets dark. Before he could get out of the house, Maria voiced, Papa, have a good day. Turning his head, he patted her while smiling, Ordal thought, and this is the first time he's been sent off with a smile like this. Then stated Maria, he will be back, and she shouted while waving her hand, be careful. However, he thought it's not bad being sent off by the family. Later, Ordal questioned if he wanted him to exterminate a pack of wolves in the northern forest, and the chief responded, could he take care of it, as if they let it continue like this someone will get injured. Then the Ordal asked why him and what happened to the hunter Sams. Then the chief responded that the same injured his food the other day while hunting, so right now he's the only one he can ask to do this, and Ordal was good at exterminating beasts when he was a kid. Further, Ordal articulated that when he was young, he entered the northern forest all the time, and if hadn't done everything he could then wouldn't have survived, as the forest around here is like a garden. But pack of wolves is an annoyance on top of moving as a pack. They're smart, and after the domestic animal, villagers would get injured, and among them, the first to be targeted would be the helpless children. Then Ordal agreed to leave it to him, old man, and the chief thanked him. Then Ordal thought that he has to protect Maria. Then the chief asserted that there are a lot of wolves, so he should take some man with him. While walking away, Ordal denied that he don't need any help and will be fine by himself. Also, he is going to borrow his bow. After that, the Ordal requested to take care of Maria if he's late in coming back. Then the chief asserted the Ordal should be careful. As soon as he reached the forest, the Ordal asserted while staring at the wolves that it's rare to have such a large pack in this area, so let's clean them up quickly and go back home. While aiming the bow toward the wolf packs, he spells spiritual martial arts and kills them one by one. Then he apologizes that this is also a part of the job, but gets shocked as he be noticed. Then leaving the bow, he quoted that the bow isn't suited for close range. Then he saw a wooden and held it while setting that's perfect and started attacking on them. But seeing them not giving up, he questioned if they still wanted to go, as he wanted to hold back anymore. Seeing them, he contemplated it'd be nice if they just left, and if possible, he didn't want to senselessly kill them, but the wolves growling at him, then he thought they didn't flinch at his killing intent, so which means a surprise attack. Then he immediately attacked, but half of its stick is broken by the wolf. Then Ordal articulated that the reason they didn't flinch at his killing intent is because that guy is the boss of a beast with particles compared to the average beast, as they're ferocious with high physical capability and intelligence. In rare cases, they can even speak human language. Just then, the magic wolf asserted that he's not some inferior and the one of the proud white magic wolf. Hearing him, Ordal thought this event rare, as he had heard that a small pack of them lived in the big mountain range far to the north, and they rarely show themselves in front of human, and asked why had he led a pack of wolves this far south. Moreover, he's pretty small, so have he gotten separated from his pack, or he's an orphan? Immediately, running toward him, the wolf shouted, shut up and die. Seeing him, the Ordal contemplated that in exchange for his small size, he's fairly fast. Then he shouted, foolish human, and Ordal responded that he's pretty fast, but it's his win, and immediately punched him, while asserting that there's no strategy in just relying on his speed. Eventually, turning his head toward the other wolves, he thought, with this, they probably won't come near here anymore. But seeing the boss moving in pain, Ordal asserted that defended with magic, so it's impressive he's still able to breathe. Staring at him, he contemplated a white magic wolf, one of the top-ranking classes of magic beast, and it's young. But if he let it go, it may come back for revenge. But then the wolf voiced in pain that father, mother, he without avenging, and apologized to them. Hearing him, Ordal remembers Maria and quoted, he has a rule about not killing brat. Lately the wolf shouted, mother, I will fight alongside father and them until the very end, and his mother denied. He can't go, as going down this river, he can get to the base of the mountain from there, so go south. Then the baby wolf denied, but she stated, her beloved child, he's their last hope, and requested to not forget the pride of the white magic wolves, and leave happily enough for them too. After that, she threw him away, and he shouted at Mom. Then she said farewell to their beloved child, and he immediately woke up. Seeing this, Ordal asserted, it looks like his spirit art spread through him. Then the wolf questioned, why is he alive? So Ordal responded, it was his house, and he saved him and had a rule about not killing brats. Then the wolf immediately shouted, he's not a brat and already 2 years old, and he's one of the proud white magic wolves. Then looking at him, Ordal thought, he's still quite young, and asked the bright full magic bowls, why did he leave his family territory and come this far south, and to top it off, he was leading normal wolves. Then the wolf asserted, before fainted, he's going to avenge his mom and dad. Further, he explained that those black magic wolves played dirty and attacked their home. That's why he tried to fight. But his mom protected him as she dropped him in the river as he tried to get back home, but doesn't know where this is. Listening to him, Ordal contemplated that as expected some kind of struggle for existence occurred between the two wolves. Then asked his fighting force of wolves, is he crazy, as no matter how many of those ordinary wolves he gathers, he can't be against the black magic wolves. Closing his eyes, the wolf asserted, even if Ordal doesn't say it, he'll get it. But he's still small, and while crying the wolf prolonged, he can't win against them like this. Moreover, Ordal questioned, if he wants to become strong. Then the wolf agreed to take his revenge. He has to become strong, and Ordal mentioned, he'll train him so that he can win against the black magic. Then he responded, the likes of a human's teaching a proud white magic wolf, and Ordal shouted, who was the one who lost to the lights of a human? The wolf stated true as he recognized his strength, and Ordal quoted, follow the law of the wild and those with powers, and so from now on he will be his pupil. Then he asked, what does that mean? And Ordal responded, that's like a pet, and instantly denied that it's something like a family. Then the wolf asserted, he'll have a new family. After that, Ordal questioned, speaking of, don't he have a name? Then the wolf responded, as he's still young and don't have a name now that his dad has died, what will he do? While thinking, Ordal quoted, so get a name when he became an adult and had done well in preparing himself. He'll be the parents that named him Fen, as it come from the grand wolf god Fenrir, from the time of legend. Then he introduced himself as Ordal, and his daughter also lives in this house as she's still a little girl, and requested him to get along with her, and if possible, he'd like for him to protect her in the time that he is gone. Then Fen responded, leave it to him, and he swore on his life as a proud of white magic wolves he'll protect her. Furthermore, Ordal asserted, from here on let's get along. Then peeking from the window he stated, Maria is home, so Fen, don't speak in front of her and pretend like he's a normal dog. Then Fen asked, why? And he responded, something unexpected like that would shock her. Moreover, Maria voiced, Papa, he's home, welcome back. Then Ordal stated, he's back. Suddenly she questioned, a puppy, why Papa? Then he introduced him as Fen. Starting today, he'll be a part of their family, and she voiced, Maria is happy. And then she patted him but instantly stated, Maria picked a flower, so wait a second. Unexpectedly, Fen voiced Ordal as he just wanted to go ahead and say this, but she's not a lad but a girl. Hearing this, Ordal was in huge shock and asked what he said. But before he could ask more, Maria entered while apologizing for making them wait. Staring at them, Ordal contemplated, it's a good grief, now he has 2 daughters. In the next scene, Maria shouted at Papa as she's going on a mission, and Ordal agreed as he'll be heading over to the village chiefs, so be careful. While running away, she stated, Fen, let's go. However, Ordal telepathy to Fen that he would leave Maria in her care, and she responded that she would leave it to her, so he articulated that high-level magic beasts are able to use telepathy, as he explained to the villagers that Fen is a dog that he picked up. So in order to hide that she's a dangerous high-class magic beast, they decided to communicate via telepathy when in front of other people, as the magic white wolf Fen is perfectly suited to be Maria's guard. Then a girl voiced Maria Chan and wished her good morning. She ran toward Fen, seeing them playing. Ordal contemplated, that's some marvelous acting ability, or rather isn't she just playing with the kids? And what happened to the magic white wolf pride? But he guessed she's still around the age to want to play. Later, Ordal asserted that he's a bit uneasy about the food stockpile, as certainly it seems like this amount would become insufficient, and for now, they'll be behind. But if it continues like this and getting through winter rough, suddenly, Chief voiced Ordal can accurately do calculations on that sheet of paper, and he agrees that it was something he said studied in his time as a mercenary. And in the royal capital, they would calculate it like this. Then the chief asserted that there's no school in this village, and math isn't particular. However, seeing a confused face, the chief explained that for a few years, the children have been increasing here, and that's delightful. But there's a bad balance between their workforce and the amount of food children eat while they grow up. So what does he think we should do and decrease how much people get per portion? Normally, Ordal responded that it'd be the case, but the ground here at the village is hard. It's not suited for cultivating grain on a large scale, and because this is a remote region, there aren't many traders that come by as they live modestly sustaining themselves. So even if they ration out food for now, it'll eventually come to the point where that can't be maintained. Instantly, Ordal quoted an old man. He's got an idea. Hold off on decreasing people's food for a few days. Lately seeing his father, Maria shouted, "Papa," and asked if he finished his job. Then Ordal denied as he's just stopping by and thought to borrow Fen for a little bit. But as soon as Ordal saw the Fen wearing a tiara, he contemplated if this girl is properly doing her job as a guard. Then the Fen responded in telepathy that it can't be held as she's still a girl around that age. Suddenly, when the other two kids saw him, they both got frightened by him, and immediately Ordal assured that he's Maria's papa and not scary. Then Maria also stated that he's not scary. Moreover, the Ordal questioned whether they wrote their name and their friend's name letter while running. He thought as expected that's how it is as lately the children stated mom and dad also can't write, and the chief mentioned that there is no school in this village as math isn't particularly necessary. As the literacy rate in the villages is surprisingly low, just not having a school is a concern, and he's seen people who have suffered in a hard time and can't allow Maria to experience that suffering. So he'll have to do something about the education in the village, though he's not fit to be a teacher. Cutting his thought, Fen voiced Ordal that she smelled animals. Staring behind the bushes, she questioned if that is their objectives for today, as there are a lot of them. Then he responded while agreeing that it's a herd of great cows, so she asked they'll hunt those and preserve the meat for the village. But Ordal denied as they are going to capture the great cows without killing them and bring them all back home. Then Fen was questioned while they were alive, so why, and he responded that they'll keep them as domestic animals. But again, she confusingly asked he's going to keep wild cows. Why would doing such a bothersome thing, and isn't it more convenient to kill them and eat their meat? However, Ordal responded that Fen think it through. That's more efficient as she can collect meat from cow, but can drink their milk, so she can also make dairy products, and if they raise them in the village, then they won't have to come and hunt them like this, because raising them instead of killing would be more convenient in the future. So this way is better for making sure the village has plenty of food, but after thinking, Fen immediately questioned by any chance he is keeping her too, so that he can eat her once she's an adult. Then Ordal instantly shouted there's no way as wolf maid is difficult to eat for humans, so rather raising just to eat her would be inefficient. Hearing him, Fen quoted in relief that she's glad, and staring at her he thought she's surprisingly clever to suspect that, then mentioned more importantly, let's hurry up and get started. But then Fen questioned how will they get the great cow to the village. Meanwhile, taking out something from his pouch, the Ordal responded that it is simple because great cows become docile when they smell this herb, as these plants take in the energy of ley lines, and so the leaves are tinged with it. Further, he mentioned that the great cows like, and if she burns it, the smoke has a relaxing effect, and great cows are originally docile by nature. So with that, it is simple. But Fen questioned, is really that simple? Why doesn't everybody catch herds of great cows? As soon as the Ordal was about to respond, but seeing her frightened face, he turned his head and saw the big great bull. Then he quoted that in a herd there's one male as it has a temperament as violent as a carnivore's. However, Fen asked, isn't it too big? Then Ordal stated it's dangerous, so stayed back, and she questioned what he was going to do. So Ordal responded he's going to break his horns and make the bull submit and recognize him. Meanwhile, cracking his knuckle, he mentioned that it's going to get a bit violent, so don't let herself get dragged in, as he'll end it immediately. And then the bull started running toward him, but jumping over it, he broke his horn and instantly fell on the ground. After that, Ordal noted that it may be cruel, but this world is survival of the fittest, as they'll take good care of him in the village. Then Fen voiced Ordal that was amazing to break the horns of such a big bull with just his bare hand, and he responded that on the battlefield she can't do at least that much, then she won't survive. So Fen denied that she thinks that impossible for a normal human. Then Ordal quoted the bull is dealt with, and next they'll take them all back to the village. While seeing the cow, she questioned if this number of great cows. Eventually, he stated that right now there's no time left, so let's start. Then Fen noted geez, Ordal is totally outside the norm. Then they started taking the cows and bull with them. Later, while seeing the great cow, Maria assorted this cow are so big, and the milk is so yummy, then Ordal mentioned to Maria that the male has a lot of nutrients, so from now drink it every day. And she responded that Maria will drink a lot, then she'll grow up big like Papa in no time. Seeing them drinking milk, he contemplated that the benefit of living in the countryside, even in the royal capital, milk is a valuable that can't be had so cheaply, and living in a remote place isn't so bad. Meanwhile, pouring the milk on Fen's bowl, Maria said that she should get big quickly, and Fen saying it tastes delicious too. Then, while drinking it, Fen telepathy that it tastes delicious. After that, Ordal shouted don't get close to the cows when there are no adults around, and she agreed. Then Fen telepath that she's with her so it will be fine. Later, watching the process of dairy, he quoted this is good. Then someone voiced Ordal-san as the great cows are amazing, and they're able to get so much milk from them every day, and trying out that cheese making that he told us about. Then Ordal responded that he's looking forward to it. Suddenly, the chief asserted Ordal came too, and he stated old man too. Then chief mentioned that these great cows really are amazing, as he had no clue what to think when he first brought them back, but compared to the mountain goats that they'd been raising, they make excellent domestic animals. Also, he can get who knows how many magnitudes more meat and milk from them. Then Ordal responded their bones can be also crafted into decoration. No part of the great cows is wasted, and the chief quoted speaking of the cultivation of Newland is proceeding well, so thanks to the farming tools he made for the cow to use. However, he asserted that with the great cow's strength they can plow the hard earth around here, and when they finish with the field, they'll start reclaiming the forest, and the great cows have all sorts of uses. So for him to even do the carpentry job of creating the farming tool and building the stable for the cows are the things he learned while he was a mercenary came in handy, and whenever there was something that the Ordal couldn't do, he had to do it. Eventually, Maria shouted, Papa, can she go look at the cheese? And he agreed, but just to make sure she didn't bother anyone. Staring at him, the chief contemplated that the devil child Ordal really had grown up. As he remembered, someone voiced, village chief, a baby, then he quoted, an abandoned child, what an awful thing. So let's take an in. Later, Ordal quoted that he's already 2, so from now on he'll survive on his own. Seeing him killing the wolf, everyone mentioned, if he's that kid, he's like a beast. Doesn't it seem like he would eat a person? How dreadful. And after that, the man stated that they'll be treating themselves to this village, so hand over all the valuable and foods. Then the poor man responded, there's nothing left in the village, as they'd given them everything. But then the man kicked him while stating Broked village, and quoted dangerously, slaughter the man, they'll sell the women and children to slave traders. Then, immediately, Ordal slit his neck and killed him. Everyone was shocked by the view, but then the man shouted, wait, if he's Ordal, thanks for saving the village, while giving him the cloth. The man asserted, it's not good for him to leave his body covered in blood, so use this cloth. Later, the man shouted, Ordal, here's some vegetables together, and they are delicious if you roast them while sitting together. The man asserted he want this village to do well. Will he help him? And Ordal agreed to help. In present, Ordal stated, demon child, how nostalgic. Then the chief quoted that when he left the village to work he was a bit lonely, but when he returned he was happy. Then Ordal responded, just using him because he's convenient, and if there are other animal feed to be a domestic animal, he'll catch them too. Then the chief mentioned that he appreciated it. On the other hand, someone noted that this is Ordal's hometown and she won't let him get away. In the next scene, someone shouted to the village chief, as there's a knight of the kingdom at the main gate. Could he come with him? Hearing this, Ordal contemplated, it could be a pursuer, as there shouldn't be anybody who knows this is his town. After that, he voiced, Maria and Fen, go on ahead to the house as they started moving. Ordal telepathy with Fen, that he's counting on her, and she responded by leaving it to her. Eventually, standing behind the tree, Ordal thought, even though he's finally living a quiet life, it'd be nice if it's not somebody that he knows. But as soon as he saw the woman, Ordal thought she would come, and why would an important lady like her come alone to such a remote area? Instantly, the woman stated to move aside, as she has a business at Ordal's house. Then the man denied, but she instantly hopped on the horse while stating she'll go alone. Hearing this, Ordal quoted, this is bad, as Maria is at home, so he had to stop her before she got there and immediately came in front of her with a mask on his face. Then he apologized to her that she can't go any further this way and contemplated that, in order for his survival to not be revealed, he borrowed a festival mask from a house on the way. But it seems that somehow he hasn't been found out. However, the woman shouted that she's Elizabeth Raymond, a knight of the kingdom, so move aside as she has business at the house where Ordal was born. Then he questioned what would she need to do at Ordal's Worth house. While taking out her sword, Elizabeth quoted, she has no need to discuss such an important thing with a total stranger and only warn him one more time, so move aside. Seeing he articulated that the usual Elizabeth Raymond is known as a serious female knight, as she would never point her sword at an ordinary citizen and fly into a rage like this, or did something happen in the time that he was gone? Moreover, he stated that Ordal-san is his cousin and he's not a complete stranger, so according to the laws in the village, he can't let her through here. Then contemplated there's no such law though. In shock, Elizabeth mentioned that he has a physique just like him, but she won't let him interfere as this is her final warning. After listening to her, he contemplated that this has gotten troublesome and can only stop her with brute strength. After that, he noticed the wooden pole, and as soon as he holds it, Elizabeth questioned if he's planning on defying a kingdom knight like her with that wooden pole. Then he responds that a washing pole will be enough for a foolish knight that has forgotten her manners. Just then, while running toward him, Elizabeth shouted that she will kill him, but dodging her attack, he contemplated she's as quick to attack as always as a knight with a natural talent, though she's still only 16 years old, and her sword prowess is among the top in the kingdom, so the title Sword Princess isn't for show. Eventually she shouted, "This is the end," and immediately cut his wooden pole into 2 pieces. Seeing this, Ordal thought she is better than before, as in the East they say, observe closely the men who haven't seen for 3 days, and it's true for women as well. But again, charging at him, Elizabeth shouted, "Go to sleep," but Ordal again dodged with his hand, then immediately held her and shouted, while throwing her in the water, Elizabeth her head off a bit. After that, he contemplated that with this, she will come down a bit and go back home. Meanwhile, seeing her reflection in the water, Elizabeth remembered that this throwing technique is Ordal's move, and she shouted it couldn't be he's Ordal. While raising his hand, he denied that he's not Ordal, then contemplated that this is the 3rd time he has sent Elizabeth flying. Then she shouted that Ordal, even though he has fooled her until now, it's pointless, as there's no way that somebody on the continent beside the war demon Ordal, who can stop her sword where-handed and then send her flying. So why don't he take off that mask and explain himself? Later at his home, Ordal stated it's just as she says, and so it seems it was decided that he was to be assassinated, so he decided to die and come back to his hometown. Unexpectedly, Elizabeth shouted that she knew that's how it was, and the war demon Ordal wasn't died. That's why she said that he is like fire, so there's no way all of him would get burnt, and that he die like that. Hearing her, he contemplated did she hit her head on something when she dropped in stream and quoted that she's as interesting as always. Then Elizabeth stated that she believed the war demon Ordal wouldn't die in a fire. Then he asked that was a superb expectation, but were there other people who thought the same? However, she denied and stated they all believed that he had died. After all, there was a burnt corpse as the physique fit him, so it was very credible. Then he responded that they couldn't find a body in the burnt ruins, so they prepared that in a rush as they probably took it from the capital's underground cemetery. Despite that, she saw through it all that he was alive. Moreover, Elizabeth mentioned that's because she believed in him, as he's the only person who won against her, and Ordal articulated that they met 5 years ago as Elizabeth challenged him any number of times without ever getting discouraged, and they were inseparable. Eventually, he questioned, so based on her judgment of the strength of the war demon who beat her, she doubted his death, and Elizabeth responded that someday she'll defeat him because he'll keep their promise. Hearing her, Ordal started thinking. Then Elizabeth asked if he forgot that if she wins, she can ask him to do anything, that serious promise they made when she was 14, and he responded that she said that he did make a promise like that 2 years ago. Furthermore, Elizabeth stated in relief that he remembered, as she's serious and will defeat him, then he'll fulfill her wish of making her his bride. But then Ordal questioned Elizabeth, how did she get wind of this village, and was sure that he didn't tell anybody about it. Immediately, Elizabeth responded that she's glad he asked and allowed him to hear the tale of how she found his hometown. It was a long journey, and instantly he disapproved. Then she asked why, and he responded that it seems like a long story. But then also, Elizabeth noted that first she pursued his mercenary group, then asked them about his hometown. After that, she searched with a fine-tooth comb through all of the villages. That's a lot of work, as it was women's intuition and the power of love. However, he asked if those guys in the Empire's border. Then she responded that they felt it was dangerous and were fleeing to the Empire, but they are doing well. He quoted as shrewd as ever, then articulated that if they had continued staying in the capital, it's very likely the king would have attacked them. It's superb decision-making, as if it's them. They should do fine in the Empire, even if he's not there because he trained them well. By the way, Elizabeth voiced to Ordal and questioned if she could ask him something. Then he responded in approval that she could ask him anything. She asked, "Who's that little girl that's been peeking over here for a while now?" Turning his head, Ordal stated, "Maria, she can come in and greet their guest." After that, Maria agreed with her papa and expressed, "Nice to meet her, she is Maria." Then Elizabeth quoted, "That is so cute, and her name is Elizabeth the Raymond, so nice to meet her. But anyway, she has the same silver silk hair as Ordal," and called him Papa. As soon as she stated that, Elizabeth went silent for a while, then shouted, "Maria-chan," and requested her to call Ordal again. Then she voiced, "Papa, Ordal, Maria loves him." Hearing her, Elizabeth immediately fell on the floor. Then Maria stated to Papa that the Oni-chan fell over, and Ordal quoted that she's weird, so don't get it wrong. He hasn't married, as the chance that this one is his kid is high. But he doesn't have a wife. Hearing him, she immediately opened her eyes wide and sat up while asserting that he's still unmarried and single. Then it's all good. Then Ordal questioned by the way Elizabeth, is it okay for her to not go home? Her parents must be worried as the third daughter of the Raymond ducal family, comment to a remote region like this alone. Eventually, Elizabeth responded that she was only thinking of finding him and threw away her rank and ran away from home, so there's not a home for her to go back to. So he stated that she's jobless and without a family. Further, she asserted that for it to come this, all the political science she studied as a kid came in handy at all. Suddenly, Ordal voiced Elizabeth as a part of her studies. Did she also receive an education as a leader? Then she agreed and stated that as a member of the Duke's family. Moreover, he mentioned that it is just an idea, but if she has nowhere to go, why not be a teacher for the children in this village as for where she lived, and now could stay in their empty room. As soon as she heard him, Elizabeth questioned if she could live in the same house as him and agreed to be a teacher or whatever, to leave it to her. Then he contemplated that he doesn't have to worry about his location being leaked, and also found a teacher in 2 birds, 1 stone. Just then Maria shouted, "Elizabeth Oni-chan, welcome," as she is happy. Hearing her, Ordal thought that it has gotten a bit more lively. Later, someone noted that Elizabeth San can teach and be strong as she is amazing, and to think that such a beautiful woman can also work. It's good that he made up with his cousin. Then Ordal hesitantly agreed with him. After that, he voiced to Elizabeth, "It's almost noon," and she responded, "It's already that time." Then he questioned if work is funnier than she thought, and Elizabeth responded, "Don't you think a hard worker like her would make a good wife?" Then he agreed and thinks she could be a good wife. Hearing him, she gets happy. But then Ordal stated that a normal village wife can't cut down a huge tree with a single blow. Suddenly Maria voiced to Papa and Elizabeth, "Oni-chan," she brought bentos. Seeing the food, Elizabeth stated that it looks delicious, and Ordal quoted, "Such splendid things. Did Maria make these by herself?" Then Maria agreed that she worked hard on it. While patting her head, Ordal asserted to Maria, "This is impressive," and contemplated that she might be a genius when it comes to making bentos. Then Elizabeth mentioned to the Ordal that why don't they hurry up and eat. Then he agreed and thanked her for the meal. Moreover, while wiping her face, Elizabeth stated she got ketchup on her face. Then she thanked her, and Ordal questioned Maria, "How is her studies? Is it fun?" Then she agreed and responded that Elizabeth Oni-chan's and language classes are really fun. Afterward, Elizabeth stated that Maria has really good memories, and Ordal quoted that for children studying is important but so is playing. So Maria makes sure to get along with her friends. Suddenly, the Fen took the sandwich and ran away. Then Elizabeth shouted, "That's her sandwich, Fen." And she started chasing her. Meanwhile, Maria happily stated, "Oni-chan, Fen do their best in the race." Just after that, Ordal saw the men and questioned, "What's wrong?" And they voiced, "Ordal-san, it's terrible bandits." In the next scene, while eating peacefully, Ordal noticed the man and the chief. Then he went toward them and questioned, "What's wrong?" The man quoted Ordal, saying that Tom, who actually went to the neighboring village, was attacked by bandits. He explained that it seems like bandits have settled on the road to the neighboring village. Maria questioned what will happen if they settle there. Elizabeth responded that the village is almost entirely self-sufficient, but the flow of goods from the nearby village will slow, and there will be some things they can't get anymore. Hearing this, Maria quoted in shock about the honey that Maria loves. Ordal contemplated that the neighboring village has a specialty sweet, delicious honey that Maria loves, and she was looking forward to getting some, so this is serious. After that, Ordal stated that he will do something about the bandits. The men stated that they'll also, but cutting them off. Ordal denied that he'll be fine by himself and will be there and back quickly. Sitting in front of her daughter, Ordal voiced Maria. He said he's going to go and bring back packages from the neighboring village in Tom's place, so he thinks it should be that delayed. Maria stated that she can watch over the house. Then he voiced Elizabeth should go back to her teaching and requested her to take care of Maria. She responded, leaving it to her. Just then, Fen barked while telepathing that she's going too. Ordal responded that it may turn into an opportunity for battle practice and stated Fen can come along. Then Maria asserted to be careful they too. Later, Fen sniffed and quoted that way. Then they both started running. But then Ordal voiced, Fen, can't she run a bit faster? And she denied as he is too fast. While running, Ordal contemplated though he's using spiritual martial arts to strengthen himself, but a human shouldn't be able to catch up with a magic white wolf. So he asked Fen, when she's running, what is she concentrating on? And Fen responded that really nothing, as if she has to say. Staring at her feet, Ordal thought that Fen is still young as she's still not very good at using her body. Then Ordal stated to Fen to listen as she ran while using her feet, but the creatures actually gather all the force in their body when they run, and she questioned if the whole body is not clicking. However, Ordal asserted let up a little bit on her strength and imagine it that she's the wind flying over the plains. Then Fen responded that there's no way she can get faster that easily, and Ordal quoted that if she can't then he'll leave her behind, and Fen accepted that she'll give it a try. While closing her eyes, Fen contemplated that she's the wind flying over the plain and started running. Seeing this, Ordal quoted, how surprising that she would get it in one go, and articulated that this is Fen's real speed as a magic white wolf. Maybe she has some natural talent as well. However, Fen stated, look, Ordal, she is going so fast. But before she could complete her word, Fen accidentally bumped into a tree. Upon seeing this, Ordal remarks that he takes it back, but she might be a genius and get easily carried away as he'll have to train her more strictly from now on. Then he mentioned to Fen that their playtime ends now. Suddenly they saw something, and he stated that's the bandit's stronghold. Then Fen questioned what will he do, so he explained that first let's hear their perspective, and if something seems weird come rushing in. She asked, is it going to be okay? As soon as he entered the house, all the bandits pointed their swords toward him and asked, who's this guy? Then he stated calm down as there must be some reason they have fallen into being bandits, so depending on the detail, he may be able to give them some advice that if they continue this their parents will cry. Listening to his word, everyone started laughing while asserting that he's really maybe a guy. Then one of them questioned, is he from the village that guy from yesterday run back to, as the village they saw last night, the one with the cow's table? Then Ordal contemplated that they sent an advance party and unfortunately, this is a heinous group of bandits. Then one of the men stated to chop this guy into bits too and feed him to the fish as they'll slaughter all the men, and attacking him he prolonged playing with the women and children, they'll sell them off. But the Ordal caught his blade while stating that he understood his circumstances as it was the same, there's no need for him to hold back. Then the Ordal started charging on them. On the other hand, standing outside and looking here and there, Fen questioned what to do. Should she go in? But then she noticed that suddenly breaking the door of the house, every bandit was thrown outside. Then Ordal came outside while stating it's over. Then she shouted, Ordal, she didn't get a turn. Then he apologized to Fen as next time he'll direct her through the fight and started thinking it was a failure on his part to not notice their scouts, and with this they may be attacked again at some point, so he needs to consider the village's self-defense. A few days later, Ordal exclaimed that let the training of Vigilant Corps begin. And everyone shouted, take care of them. So Ordal quoted that they were lucky, and he was able to exterminate the bandits from a couple of days ago. But the same things may happen again in the future, and to prepare for that he'll train them so that they have the strength to protect the village. Also they want to protect their family with their strength. Suddenly, one of them mentioned that he'd never held a weapon, and everyone started to agree with him. But then Elizabeth voiced a doubt, asking if they were really going to be okay. The man responded, explaining that she seemed uneasy, which is why he had prepared weapons that they could use, along with things he had recovered from the bandits a few days ago. While holding the weapon, the men noticed a spear and a bow, realizing there was no sword. Elizabeth mentioned that the combat power of a sword is higher, and Ordal added that they wouldn't be using a sword this time. Just then, Ordal handed a sword to a man, asking if he wanted to try giving it a practice swing. However, as soon as he held it, the man stated it was heavy. Ordal noted that it was heavier than he thought, explaining that swords require their own training. He continued, saying that the training period for a spear is short, and when push comes to shove, they can also throw it as an attack. He emphasized that the sphere had a long reach and was easy to make. Elizabeth asserted that for an amateur, the sphere is easier to use. Ordal then mentioned the next bow, called the crossbow, as it would be faster if they saw this one as well. While showing the target board, he explained that they should shoot at the target there. One man, raising his hand, mentioned that he had never shot above before. Ordal commanded him to first take aim and line up with the center of the target, and while doing that, pull the trigger with his right hand. The man did it, and everyone praised him as the arrow pierced the metal plate. Ordal explained that the crossbow is a mechanical bow used by people in the West, as it uses the energy stored up in the bowstring to create a great amount of force. He added that it only takes a bit of training, as shooting is simple. Afterward, the other man commented that even they could use the crossbow. Ordal stated that today they had obtained the means to fight. He noted that weapons have no purpose other than to harm people, but at the same time, they can protect the things valuable to them. He emphasized that how they use them all depended on the intent of the user. He then stated that they would be going over the final part, and only those who were prepared to put their lives on the line to protect the village should come to the front. Hearing him, everyone came forward. Ordal remarked that they all had a good face, so if that was the case, they should let him see their resolve. All of them stood in line and linked their hands, as it would hurt a bit, but they should bear with it. After that, everyone stood holding each other's hands, and then Ordal grabbed someone's hand, causing everyone to tremble in pain. He told them to relax, as the pain would subside. Suddenly, one of them stated his body felt kind of weird. Ordal explained that it was strength in their martial spirit, which had just awoken. He added that from here on, they should practice with that as well, as it would become the strength of the self-defense unit. Elizabeth shouted that he had woken up many people's martial spirit all at once. Ordal agreed, mentioning that it was a drastic measure he had learned from an ascetic monk in the East. He explained that in order to force the martial spirit to bloom, strong will was necessary, or they wouldn't be able to bear it. He added that it was quite taxing, so even he couldn't use it. Listening to his words, Elizabeth shouted in denial, stating that if he could easily do something like that, the power structure of the continent would change all at once. Ordal told her she was being loud. However, he voiced that there was a lot to test, asking someone to take the spear and stab at the target. While holding the spear, the man stated that the sphere felt so light, realizing the power that was sleeping in their bodies. Ordal mentioned that they should begin the training, as he was strict to prepare themselves. Lately, while examining the wall, Ordal stated it was better than he imagined. Elizabeth praised Ordal's work, but asked if he was doing a bit much. He responded that after this, he was planning on a gate that opens and closes for guards and traps that utilize the village's surroundings. He added that he would take into account the village's living environment, strength differences, and living amenities. Hearing him, Elizabeth exclaimed that it seemed like it would take hundreds of soldiers to make this village fall. Suddenly, Maria exclaimed, "Papa, this wall is so big." He responded, telling Maria that there was also a present he was going to give her, so she should look at that. As soon as she saw the playground, Maria was amazed, asserting that it looked fun. She asked if she could play, and he approved, telling her to go and play with everybody. Just then, he saw a friend and asked her if she wanted to play too. He then saw Elizabeth and asked if she also wanted to play. She responded that there was no way that was the case, as she was Lady Elizabeth of the glorious Raymond household. Listening to her, Ordal thought that if he really thought about it, Elizabeth was only a 16-year-old girl and normally wouldn't be swinging a sword. But she would probably be at a height of wanting to play. He stated that if that was the case, Elizabeth should inspect the playground equipment for safety. She immediately agreed, stating to leave it to Elizabeth Raymond. Seeing them, Ordal articulated that what the village needed wasn't just a defensive unit and a protective fence, but the people living there also needed a happy environment. In the next scene, a child shouted, "Maria's papa, look." He climbed to such a high place and stated, "Good job." Then Maria shouted, "Papa, she can climb really well too." Seeing her, he contemplated that Maria might have good reflexes, so maybe she will take after her father in that. Then he stated to the children that playing is important, but make sure they study properly too, and they agreed. On the other hand, a girl mentioned that Maria-chan, ever since she got here, every day has been fun, and the boy agreed that yesterday. Furthermore, another girl quoted, "The bread is so fluffy, and Mama and Papa are really happy when she writes their names." Hearing this, Ordal articulated that life in the village has definitely gotten better. Productivity and efficiency for the great cow raising and forest field reclamation are improving, and the drive of the young people is also coming to life as they have become markedly more dependable. However, thanks to that, the children who previously had to work can now spend that time playing and studying. So now he can't just spend all his time playing. Eventually, Ordal questioned if there's a strange creature in the village mine, and the chief stated that the miner George saw it. Then he quoted an old man, "That's pretty bad," and articulated that there's a small mine on the outskirts of the village. It's just a small cave opened up in the mountain, so it doesn't produce much, and for a long time, the village has mined only the iron that it's needed from there. After that, Ordal questioned what kind of beast it was, and the chief responded. George said it had a long and thick silhouette, and he also heard a hissing and was frightened, so he ran away. Hearing him, Ordal responded, "Leave its extermination to him." Then the chief asked Ordal if he'll do it, and he agreed that the mines are important for the village's life. Then he contemplated that Maria has been memorizing different recipes and was just thinking that he'd like to get a new cooking pot just like a beast, to get in the way of Maria's home cooking. After drinking his tea, Ordal quoted, "He's off then," and the chief exclaimed to be careful. While sitting alone, Elizabeth questioned herself, "Why didn't I get those guys?" But suddenly, Ordal stated, "She is here, Elizabeth, let's go out," and in excitement she asked, "A date invitation?" Then immediately he denied while mentioning, "Wear something easy to move in and bring your weapon too." Just then, Elizabeth questioned in confusion if it's not a date. Then he responded, "It's an animal subjugation," but still, Elizabeth exclaimed that she's happy to go on an outing with him and will get ready. Eventually, while walking outside, Ordal quoted, "The next is, and telepath Fen. Can she hear him?" But not getting a response, he stated, "I have some delicious jerky." Unexpectedly, she came out of nowhere while asking for jerky. So Ordal exclaimed, "The three of them will have to go to the mine to exterminate the animal." Then Elizabeth quoted that she doesn't mind, but why are they bringing the puppy Fen along? And Ordal stated to Fen that she can show her. Just then, Fen greeted Elizabeth. Hearing this, she shouted, Fen talked. But before Ordal stated something, Elizabeth quoted while crying, "How awful to experience such a thing so young." Then Ordal apologized for keeping it a secret until now, and asked if he could trust her to keep Fen a secret from the village. Suddenly, embracing her, she agreed to leave Fen to Elizabeth Raymond. Then Ordal stated, "Let's go to the cave, and I'll go ahead and say at the start, but this time I won't be participating as this will also be training, so they both will fight." Further, Ordal continued that he made a promise to Fen and Elizabeth too that if their only opponent is those logs, they'll get weaker. However, Elizabeth responded that she also didn't mind, but Fen questioned Ordal that if they're going to fight an ordinary animal, then he stated, "Don't worry about that, as she'll understand when they go to the mines." After reaching there, Elizabeth questioned whether these are mines as it's really small scale. Then Ordal responded that when she compared it to the mines run by the kingdom. While moving inside, he exclaimed that a bit ahead of here it ends. Then Elizabeth asked Ordal if he'd been in here before, and he agreed that when he was a kid, children were forbidden from coming into the mine, but it was a good place for an orphan like him to play as he used to play by cutting down trees with a wooden sword and hunting packs of wolves. Afterward, Fen quoted to Elizabeth that Ordal's normal isn't normal, and she responded, "Not at all." Hearing them, he contemplated that it is an outdated way of playing in this day and age. Moreover, Ordal exclaimed that from here on is the mine's deepest section, so focus themselves. While looking here and there, he stated this is like he thought and shouted, "Watch out, it's coming." Then Elizabeth mentioned that she didn't sense anything, and Fen quoted that she don't smell it. Then he stated that it can erase its presence and smell as it's quite the skilled opponent. Just then, Elizabeth mentioned in shock that it is a great snake, but even so, it's too big. Then Ordal asserted that it's not a normal great snake as it's a high-rank magical beast, a great iron snake, so now as planned they will eliminate it. Eventually, they started attacking the snake. Meanwhile, Ordal exclaimed that he forgot to say, "But this guy's scales are really tough, just as the name implies, as it's tough as iron, and its body is a mass of muscles as it eats iron for nourishment as it grows, and they're rumor like that too, as it's truly troublesome opponent." Further, he continued that its fangs also have a deadly poison, so don't get distracted. Then Elizabeth stated, if that is how it is, then they'll attack together from its blind spot. But it dodged, and she questioned, what was that moment? Did it anticipate their attack ahead of time? Then Ordal explained that in order to live in the mines, the great iron snake's vision is bad, but its other senses are extremely sharp, as it has the ability to perceive the opponent's smell in its mouth. Elizabeth asserted, he's saying that it reads moves just from their scent. Then Ordal responded, that's why he warned them at the start that the great iron snake is strong. However, Fen questioned Elizabeth about what they should do, and Ordal quoted, good grief, as it can't be helped. Afterward, Ordal explained that first, Elizabeth, her talent is the real deal, but she had only ever fought against people, so fighting against this level of magic beast will be a hard fight. but her true strength is even greater than this, so throw away her pride as a knight and break through her husk as a sword is her fang. Bare her fangs. Same goes for Fen, as where did that intense bloodlust from when they first met go, as she won't be able to avenge her parents with such a cowardly face, so if she wants, how about he go and subjugate the black magic wolves, and asked if she okay with that, as Fen is the successor of the proud magic white wolves. Eventually, Ordal mentioned that when it comes to drawing out Elizabeth's true talents, the title of knight has become a shackle holding her back, and Fen is a kind girl among the children and most popular as such. There may be times where she forgets that she's a fair and loathed existence known as a magic beast. After listening to his words, Elizabeth shouted that they will show him their strength, and Ordal contemplated that this is important for them, as he thought those who are geniuses, and then together they both killed the great iron snake. Afterward, while embracing each other, both asserted that they did it. Then Ordal exclaimed that the amount of magic and martial spirit they released was good, but their control isn't quite there yet, so he'd give it a 60. Then Elizabeth stated that he's too harsh, as they were planning on trying their best. So Ordal immediately apologized, and while patting their head, he asserted that they did well. Then Elizabeth stated that suddenly patting a girl's head isn't something he should do, though she was happy, and Fen quoted that she was happy too. Then Ordal stated that since they are feeling better, let's go back to the village, but suddenly Elizabeth shouted that there was another, but it's bigger than the last one. Then Ordal asserted that's unbelievable, as there were 2 higher rank magic beasts, so Elizabeth, he is going to borrow her sword, so both do rest. However, Elizabeth questioned Ordal if he is going to go alone, and he responded that it's dangerous, so he's going, then immediately cut the snake head with the help of a sword. After that, staring at the sword, he stated that as expected of Elizabeth's sword, as it's exceptionally sharp. Seeing this, both of them got surprised, and Elizabeth stated that even though they struggled so much with the great iron snake, that's why he is called the war demon. Later at night, Ordal asserted that there's no part of the great iron snake that he threw away, and when he dried the scales and bones, as they could be made into weapons and armor. Further, he explained that it's heat-resistant and waterproof, so it's an excellent material for daily necessity. Then an old man stated that the ones who can sew are going to be busy starting tomorrow, and the chief questioned Ordal if it is okay to give all of these amazing magical beast materials to them. Then Ordal responded that even if he kept it, there's nothing he could use it for, and requested to use it for the development of the village. Suddenly a man questioned, "What is he drinking?" And another man responded that the great snake's blood was put into the alcohol, as Ordal-san says, that it's delicious. Then Ordal articulated that the great iron snake blood is an excellent material that can be made into various medicines, and the meat when seasoned and grilled is delicious. After that, he exclaimed, to make sure they don't burn themselves. Then a little boy asked, "What is this, as it's salty and sweet?" Then Ordal stated, that's an Eastern preparation known as kabayaki, and it has a special sauce on it, so make sure to eat up. As soon as Maria tasted, she expressed that it's really good, Papa, and thanked him for such tasty meat. Then Ordal contemplated that he should go hunt it again. Just then Maria voiced Fen and asked if she wanted to eat the meat too. Then Ordal telepath that after she ate that come with him. Later, while eating, Fen questioned Ordal what's wrong. Then he stated, glutton, after she swallowed that, open her mouth wide, as he's going to feed her something even better, and swallowing her food. Fen asked while opening her mouth, is that okay? While showing the stone, Ordal stated that this is a price, so try eating it. Then she questioned if it's a magic stone and if he can eat it, and he agreed that if it's hers she should be able to do it. After that, he articulated that the source of a magic beast's magic is this, as normal creatures can't eat the magic stone, and the high-rank magic beast hunts other magic beasts and eats their magic stone, so he'd heard that they gain a new power. Then he questioned if she wanted to become strong, and Fen agreed. Then after eating, she quoted, thanks for the meal. Suddenly seeing her, Ordal contemplated that the magic stone absorption went well, as it seems she wants to suddenly power up. But we can already feel a stronger magic power than before, and stated that she shouldn't force herself, as it's fine as she gradually makes the power on her own. So from now they will hunt magic beasts, and she'll eat their magic stone, but only the ones that she hunts herself. That will be her training. Then Fen responded that she will do her best, and thanked him while walking away. Looking at her, Ordal contemplates that he's looking forward to Fen's development and already feels just like her loving parent. On the other hand, Elizabeth voiced Ordal, so this is where he was. Then he questioned Elizabeth what's wrong, and she responded that she only had one drink, her eyes are kinda spinning. Seeing her, Ordal stated that she is totally drunk. Suddenly Maria shouted to Papa she brought water. While embracing her, Elizabeth thanked Maria-chan, as she is cute today too. Then he stated what she was, some old guy at a bar, and Maria shouted, "Don't do that, Fen, it's alcohol," but Elizabeth quoted, "Come on, drink, Fen, she is a drinker too," and then seeing her, she started laughing. Meanwhile, Ordal mentioned, "What a noisy night." In the next scene, someone voiced to the village chief that they are here, and the chief mentioned that they should open the gate. On the other hand, Ordal stated, "Let's finish it here," and the man thanked him while asserting, "Ordal-san, the great iron snake's scales are light and easy to move in. Also, it's great at stopping spears and swords, as the spears are also a mixture of great iron, snake bone, and steel." So Ordal quoted that it's because magic beast bone can be used to strengthen metal. After that, Ordal contemplated that maybe he had overdone it a little bit. But this is a remote region surrounded by deep forests and mountains brimming with danger, so it's not a bad idea to raise a self-defense force's strength. Suddenly, the man asserted that they are getting stronger, as earlier he defeated a boar by himself, and another man mentioned that he drove away a wolf with a crossbow. Hearing them, Ordal articulated that he forcefully awakened their martial spirit, but they're progressing well. Then he explained that it's important to realize when they are getting stronger. But that's also the most dangerous moment, as new recruits have the highest casualty rates on the battlefield, and negligence will cost a fighter their life. So they are the vigilant corpse. And it's fine even if they can't kill an enemy, and getting stronger in order to protect, so don't forget that. Suddenly, the chief shouted that the caravan is here. Later, Elizabeth questioned 1 plus 2, and the child responded 3 and praised them. Then Ordal articulated that it's 5 times a week. There's a 1-hour language and math course, as it seems the school is going well. On the other hand, Elizabeth questioned whether everyone was able to write their name, and everyone agreed to Elizabeth's sensei. Seeing this, Ordal stated that he was right to leave it to Elizabeth. Then she mentioned that the next is their handicraft time. Let's make something like out of clay. And he contemplated that at some point she added a handicraft time, as it's an effective lesson because creativity will clear the way for an endless number of possible futures for the children, and being skilled with their hand is related to any number of jobs, so he's thankful for Elizabeth's cleverness. Later after class, Elizabeth exclaimed to be careful on their way home. Then she is about to say something but saw Ordal, and he stated that he saw her lesson, as she's quite the teacher. And it seems like the children are also enjoying learning, and on top of what he asked for, her practical lessons seemed effective. Just then Elizabeth responded that if she suddenly prays, then she is going to be embarrassed, and Ordal asserted that it was a good lesson. But it is hard to believe she's the same person who got so drunk at the party. While turning around, Elizabeth denied and stated to not bring that up. Suddenly Maria voiced, "Papa, did he come to see her?" Then she had a problem for him, and questioned that there are 3 apples. Then she added 2 more, but Fen, it's one of them, so how many apples are there? Hearing her questions, Ordal contemplated that 3 plus 2 to 1 is 4, as it is simple to answer that. But is it okay to be correct? Because he learned math as a part of becoming the leader of the mercenaries. As wars are a fight of numbers in the commander class, is an indispensable skill. But maybe it'd be better to purposely get it wrong and let someone else have the victory. Further, he prolonged that how troubling, and at a time like this how should a father answer, and stated to Maria that the correct answer is 5. Then she responded that is incorrect, as the right answer is 4. While patting her head, Ordal quoted that as expected of Maria. Then she responded that Maria is really happy to be praised by Papa, and he contemplated that it seems he made the right choice, as up to this point he'd always borne with the option optimal choice, and would cut down on the unnecessary and go down the shortest route. But intentionally picking the wrong choice and raising the other desire to improve themselves, that kind of important thing exists, as well as children are profound. After that, he stated the time for studying is over, so Maria and Elizabeth, let's go to the plaza. Seeing the crowd, Elizabeth stated this is the first time she'd seen a caravan. Then Ordal articulated that the caravan of merchants comes to the village once every few months, and for the villagers who usually support themselves and can't buy anything as it's a big event. Also, this isn't just a day for the villagers to spend the money that they'd saved, and it's also a chance for the merchants to buy products and handicrafts from the villagers. Meanwhile, Maria voiced, "Elizabeth and Chan, let's go look." While walking, Ordal quoted that seeing such a lively scene is fun. Suddenly he saw a man, and stated the head merchant, "It's been about 5 years." Then the merchant asserted that his appearance has changed so much that at first he thought it was a different person, but the only person in the village with such a presence would be only Ordal-san. Hearing him, Ordal contemplated that it would seem that he doesn't know about the assassination things, yet then the merchants questioned Ordal-san what the heck happened to the village in the past few months, but instantly denied that it's changed way too much. However, he mentioned that when he last came, there was no fortress-like fencing, and never seen such a sturdy village on this continent. Those cries heard coming from inside were great cows, and the large-scale farming wasn't here before. Then Ordal responded that he captured the great cow, and right now there are about 50 of them. Then the merchant stated that all he can do is laugh, and more importantly, not a single child is too skinny, as there have been a number of good changes in this village. Ordal asserted that he also had animal hides and teeth that he likened to a praise, and also had a great snake material. Just then he saw Maria. While holding a clip, she stated, "This is cute, but she don't have any money." As soon as he heard her, Ordal contemplated that he'd never given Maria an allowance. What a great failure, as money isn't really used in the village, so he totally forgot about it. Moreover, he has to give Maria an allowance, but how? As an orphan, he never received an allowance from parents, so whenever he wanted something, he would always get it with his own power and sword. So what should he do in a moment like this? Immediately he voiced to the Fen where she is as it's an emergency, so come here quickly, and he'll buy as much a jerky she wants. While running toward him, Fen questioned what he needed and thanked for coming. After coughing, Ordal stated that he forgot to do something and to give something to Maria this morning. Seeing the Fen, he stated, what good timing his pet Fen had arrived, so sitting in front of her while giving the pouch, Ordal quoted, "Give this to Maria." Instantly, Fen went toward Maria, and she stated, Fen came too. But seeing him running her around, Maria questioned, "What's wrong?" Then she saw a pouch on her neck and asked if she is giving it to Maria. As soon as Maria opened the pouch and asserted money, then started looking here and there and saw the Ordal. Meanwhile, he wondered if Maria properly got her allowance for all her work around the house, as Papa is looking forward to seeing what Maria will buy with it. Then Fen quoted, he could have just given it to her by himself, and Ordal responded, if he had given it to her, wouldn't it be like he bought it? So it's important to use her own money. Then Fen exclaimed that humans are so troublesome with their money and bartering. Suddenly, Maria voiced, Papa, look, does it suit her? And he agreed that she's just like a royal princess. Then Maria thanked him, and he stated that this is a rare opportunity as they should go around together, so is there anything as she wants? While holding his hand, Maria responded that she is interested in the skirt over there so Papa can decide which one is better. Hearing her, Ordal contemplated. He doesn't know a thing about women's clothing. While showing him, Maria noted which is the best. In the next morning, Maria greeted Papa good morning and Elizabeth too. Then Maria stated, Papa, she will help too as he is good at cooking. And Ordal questioned, even though he can only make food, then articulated that as a machinery at the very least you have to be able to care for the things as cooking, laundry, cleaning as it was necessary to get used to all of them. Further, he mentioned that Maria had improved a lot too. Then Elizabeth stated that she will help too. While holding the wok, Elizabeth quoted that she should at least be capable of making an omelette, but she immediately dropped it on the floor. Then Maria questioned Elizabeth Oni-chan if she was okay. Then Elizabeth apologized. Seeing this, Ordal articulating that Elizabeth is bad at cooking, or rather she's generally bad at all household chores because she's a dupe daughter and probably never had the chance to do it herself. However, he assured Elizabeth not to let it bother Land as this is practice, so don't get flustered. Then Elizabeth responded that she thinks of it as bridal training and will do her best. Staring at the Fen, he thought is her way of being considerate of Elizabeth, or something like it's fine, even if it's been dropped. Then Fen wondered if Elizabeth will fail and drop some more, then she will have an even bigger breakfast. Hearing her, Ordal articulated that he took it back as she is just a glutton. Then he quoted breakfast is ready. After that, Ordal mentioned while walking that he will help in the field, so now he's leaving. Just then, Elizabeth voiced Ordal, can the talk for a second, and he questioned. Words wrong, purposely catching up to him outside. Then Elizabeth stated that she wanted to consult him on Maria's study, and he asked, what does that mean, have her grades dropped? Eventually, Elizabeth mentioned that Maria is an overly bright student, that's why she is worried, as he can teach the general reading, writing, and math that are necessary for general life in the village. But she hasn't studied as an educator, so at some point she'll hit her limit. Listening to her words, Ordal quoted, Maria is still 5. Then Elizabeth exclaimed that in the capital city, even among the nobles, there are hardly any 5-year-olds as clever as, and if he's thinking seriously about the future, then it would be best if he entered Maria into an academy somewhere, as the sooner the better. Eventually, Ordal contemplated that he also felt that Maria was a clever kid, but thought that was just his bias as a parent, not an objective view, as an older sister, Elizabeth, probably wants to develop Maria's talents, and as her father feels the same. But Ordal apologized and asserted, "Do not say anything about this to anyone else, and let him think about it a little bit, because for her sake, Maria should enter an academy somewhere. There's no academy near a remote village like this. The closest one would be in the third city in the territory of the royal capital, as he can't let her go so far away by herself. If Maria goes to an academy, that would mean him leaving the village as well." In the next scene, Ordal articulated that he has been thinking about Elizabeth's suggestion of entering Maria into an academy, but he still hasn't come up with an answer. On the other hand, Elizabeth questioned who knows the answer to the next, and Maria raised her hand while asserting, "Sensei, the answer is 98, and Elizabeth stated, "It's correct, Maria-chan, that's amazing." Hearing this, Ordal contemplated that she is able to do more difficult problems in her head, and really, then he articulated that according to the researchers at the royal capital, a parent's talent is passed on to the children. If that's the case, then it's not from him, but from her mother. So it seems that Maria only understood that Ordal is that and hazy when it comes to her mom. Further, Ordal prolonged that he has seen fighters who suffer from memory loss after receiving a strong chop on the battlefield, but more important than the past, what matters now is the present, and the future is that Maria is happy. So that's good. And as expected, the best thing for that would be entering her into an academy. So he has been doing too much for the village's defense and development until now. As rapid development could shatter the balance in an instant, but is it really okay to abandon the village in its half-completed state? Thanks for watching it, guys. Smash that subscribe button like it's your morning alarm clock.